friends, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome if you're new here. So you're thinking about moving to the Beehive State, Utah, but you're not sure which city to call home. Well, this video is for you. Whether you're drawn to city life or outdoor adventure, we're gonna break down 4 main spots in northern Utah: Salt Lake City, Provo, Layton, and Ogden. Each one's got its own unique flavor, so let's dive in and help you find your perfect fit. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in northern Utah, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in northern Utah.
We are Sloan and Kim Peterson with the Peterson Group, and we've been in the real estate business for 10 years, and every day we have people just like you looking to buy, sell, invest, and relocate here in northern Utah, and we absolutely do love it. Whether you're thinking about moving in 9 days or 90 days, go ahead and give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and all that information is in that description box below, so we can help you make that smooth transition here in northern Utah. Let's go ahead and get into it right now.
All right, first things first, let's talk about housing. Whether you're buying or renting, you'll want to know what you're getting into before you pack those moving boxes. Salt Lake City, Utah's capital and biggest city, tends to be on the pricier side. Salt Lake's median home price, as of shooting this video, is currently hovering around $500,000. With Salt Lake being the hub of the state, you've got lots of different neighborhoods, each with their own feel, like Sugar House, the Avenues, and 9th and 9th. But yeah, housing prices reflect that city demand for sure.
And so Provo, which is about 45 minutes south of Salt Lake, comes in second for price with a median value of around $430,000. It's home to Brigham Young University, so you've got a blend of historic homes and a more youthful college town vibe. Don't worry though, we're going to be diving deeper into Provo in just a little bit. Now, if you're trying to get more bang for your buck, you're going to want to consider Layton and Ogden. Those will be your solid picks there. Layton's medium home value is hovering at around $400,000, and Ogden's even lower, coming in at about $350,000. So Ogden is honestly a hidden gem for anyone that's looking for more affordable housing, but still wanting to be close to those Utah mountains and those outdoor activities.
But what if you're planning to rent? Well, heads up, renting can get tricky too. Layton actually tops the list for rent, averaging around $1,300 a month. It's a super convenient city for families, with Hill Air Force Base bringing in jobs and boosting the local economy. Plus, Layton's located smack in the middle of Salt Lake and Ogden, so you're close to everything without the big city prices. Provo and Ogden rents are lower, but you're still getting a lot of value for your money. Salt Lake, of course, is right up there on the list, with rents averaging around $2,000 a month for smaller square footage.
Yeah, definitely. And there's one thing to think about with rents, right, is average is relative, right? Because that's going to take the top and then the lowest. And so honestly, like, most of us still aren't probably paying $1,300 or $2,000 a month. It could be lower or higher depending. I find that usually we're probably seeing an average of about $1,500 like in the whole Wasatch Front area. So just want to just give you some insight there. Is the $1,300 is still going to be for a smaller, maybe a 1-bedroom. It's not going to be for a house or something bigger than that. Now, one of the things that makes northern Utah so special is that wherever you live, you're always close to those mountains. The Wasatch Mountain Range is going to stretch along the east side of Salt Lake City, Provo, Layton, and Ogden, and these are part of the Rocky Mountains. They're absolutely gorgeous and stunning. If you've ever seen these personally, you just know how beautiful these mountains are. What's really cool about this is you can explore hundreds of miles of trails within just a quick drive from really any of these cities. You've got lakes, rivers, and even waterfalls to check out, and my favorite are the alpine lakes that you have to hike to. You can't drive to them. They're so beautiful because no one swims in them, so they're usually like, they're not full of people like kayaking or that kind of stuff. It's just a beautiful alpine lake that you can see, and there's tons of them across the Wasatch Front. So whether you're into hiking, biking, or really just soaking in the views, these mountains are going to be your playground. Oh, and in the winter, you're never really far from some of the best skiing and snowboarding in the whole world. People travel from all over the country and all over the world to ski in some of our prestigious ski resorts here in Utah.
Yeah, so in terms of choosing where to live in one of these 4 cities, as far as scenery goes, you can't lose. Let's talk about those views. Every city in northern Utah has something special to offer. Layton's view of the Great Salt Lake and Antelope Island is unbeatable. Picture this, the sun setting over the island, turning the sky into shades of pink, orange, and purple. It's seriously breathtaking. That was one of our favorite things about living in Layton, was the sunsets. It's personally the view I grew up with, and to this day, it still blows me away. Then there's Provo. With Utah Lake to the west of the city, you get some stunning lake views, especially at sunset. And if you're up on the mountains, the views just get all that better. Now, we might be biased, but we love the views of Ben Lomond up in Ogden. If you live on the east side of Ogden, you're probably the closest to the mountains in terms of all the cities. Of course, if you can purchase a home in the millions, you can get the same thing in Salt Lake.
Weber County area is just way more affordable, and a lot of times when we meet people like you guys just on this channel, a lot of people reach out because of Salt Lake City, right? People have never even heard of Ogden or any of that kind of stuff, and so don't write any of those cities out. Definitely pick what's best for you. Definitely consider looking into Weber County if you just want to see, where your money could stretch. And even if you're working in Salt Lake, you're only about a 45-minute drive into Salt Lake, so still may be a viable option depending on what your lifestyle looks like. Now, of course, every city's gonna have its own vibe. In Salt Lake City, well, it's big, it's bustling, and it's got everything you would expect from a major city. We have tons of neighborhoods that all have their different vibe in them as well. We have lots of restaurants, bars, and activities. Whether you're exploring the artsy streets of Sugar House, grabbing coffee in the avenues, or just heading downtown for a jazz game, there's always something going on in the city. It's also a hub for businesses with tech companies, financial firms, and obviously a lot more than that. So there's a good chance that you're gonna find some great job opportunities here if you're locating for work.
And I actually lived in Salt Lake all through my college years. I went to school at the University of Utah, and just to say how much the city has expanded since then, I mean, obviously it's been quite a while since I was in college, but the city has grown so much. So truly, if you love that big city vibe, I do not think you would be disappointed in Salt Lake.
Yeah, totally. Kim and I actually, just a fun fact that we lived downtown Salt Lake for I think 10 years when we first met. And of course, Kim and I lived in Salt Lake longer than that. But when we first met, we lived there together for 10 years, right downtown. And as a young couple, without kids, all that kind of stuff, we actually loved living downtown. But downtown back then, it was really hard to find just housing downtown, right? It was all just mostly corporations and business, not even a lot of restaurants, right? And in the last 10 or 15 years, they've really expanded the housing. So now there's tons of housing downtown, tons of restaurants and eateries. So if you're looking for that downtown vibe, that hustle and bustle, Salt Lake definitely would be something to consider.
Okay, now let's talk about Ogden's vibe. It's way more laid back in terms of being a city. It's got this cool historic feel downtown. It's full of old buildings, small shops and restaurants. The city's undergoing a bit of a revival right now, so there's new housing and revitalized downtown housing, but it's still quieter than Salt Lake. You're also super close to world-class skiing. Snow Basin is 20 minutes away, with Powder Mountain and Nordic Valley not much farther. If you're an outdoor enthusiast who loves to ski, snowboard, or hike, Ogden is truly the best place to be.
Totally, and we're obviously biased to Ogden, and everyone really craps on Ogden, right? Because it has what did one of our clients say? It had an edgy vibe.
Yeah.
And Ogden definitely is that edgy vibe. But what I like about Ogden is you get that big vibe, that edgy vibe from a city, but you still have that small town feel to it. And so Ogden, to me, we're really biased, but and you're really close to the mountains in Ogden too. The whole Wasatch Front you are really anyway. I mean, if you've been to Denver, you realize how far the mountains still are from you as far as the Rockies go. In the Wasatch Front, you're just right up on them. Those mountains just hover over you. So super cool. Definitely Ogden is, been home for us for about 15
Ogden's
years.
where it's at if you want to live with cool people like us.
That's right. And it's funny because we meet a lot of you guys here and people are like, you know what? One of the reasons we called you guys is because you guys know so much about Ogden and we want to be your neighbors, right? So if you want to be our neighbor, definitely join the A-list, top exclusive VIP. No, I'm just kidding. But totally look into Ogden, North Ogden especially, if you want to be close to those mountains. Then there's Provo. So Provo's a bit of a mix. It's got that historic downtown with older homes, but it's also modernizing really fast. There's huge shopping malls with all your major change. Plus they're building a cheesecake factory soon. So that's exciting news for you guys if you love a good slice of cheesecake. And if you know me, you know that I love cheesecake. So that's really cool. But it's also home to BYU. The whole city kind of revolves around the university and game days are wild out there. So if you love college football, you like that rivalry, you're definitely gonna wanna check out a BYU game, especially when they're playing the Utes, right? Because we call it the Holy War and it just gets wild out there, whether you're a Salt Lake Utes fan or, Provo BYU. The community really does embrace that family-friendly vibe. You're gonna find parks, playgrounds, and plenty of kid-friendly things to do. It's really perfect if you're looking for a place with strong family values and that tight-knit community feel.
Speaking of the Cheesecake Factory, if you've never had, and this is so random, but if you've never had their fettuccine Alfredo, it's delicious.
I know, isn't it weird? They do have some of the best fettuccine Alfredo. You would never think, but it's amazing.
Speaking of new fast-growing areas, we can't forget about Point of the Mountain. Now, this isn't one of the four that we're kind of comparing, but this area area is between Salt Lake and Provo. It's absolutely exploding with new development. They call it Silicon Slopes because of all the tech companies moving in. You've got everything from high-end homes to big-name restaurants and shops, but with that comes a lot of traffic. The area is getting more congested, but it's still a hot spot for anyone working in tech or looking for that modern living.
Yeah, and fun fact about this is actually our state prison used to be there, and it was kind of crazy because back in the day when I was growing up here, there was nothing out there. The prison just sat on the top of this hill, and we kind of just look at it like it was just some scary, movie type thing, but it sat on the top. There was no housing, no nothing over there. And then as, Salt Lake started expanding south and Utah County started expanding north, they kind of started meeting up in the middle there. And that's when we started becoming some of our prime real estate. And so the government officials were like, why are we having prison in some of our prime real estate? So they relocated the prison back in the West Desert, and then they basically just demolished all that. It's still being built as we speak. It's gonna start coming in and really making that area even more busy, but a lot of job opportunities will come from that as well. And some of those cities to think about around there in case you're looking in the Silicon Slope area, will be cities like Draper, Harriman, Riverton,
Eagle Mountain.
That's gonna be more Utah County, but yeah, that's part of all that. You can definitely look into that, and it can be a good area for you. All right, and finally, we're gonna chat about Layton. So Layton has that classic hometown American feel. There's just something special about living there. Maybe it's the parks, the small community events, or it's the fact that the city just really pulls together for things like the 4th of July. They have some of the best fireworks shows that you'll ever see. Plus, you've got Hill Air Force Base right next door, which some people like living close to the base. For one, it gives you a lot of jobs, and then you can hear the jets. For some people, they love that. Other people think it's the sound of freedom. And when I talk about the jets all the time, people either, like I said, they love or hate it, but the sound of freedom comes up a lot. So if you're looking for some local fun, you're just a short drive from Lagoon Amusement Park. This is in Farmington, which is about, 20 minutes or so from there. It's Utah's mini Disneyland, but it's not really as big or fancy as Disneyland, but still fun for a day out with your family. They also have something called Frightmares in the October time, I think September, October, where they actually kind of do a little haunt in the amusement park, which is pretty cool too. Again, Layton is smack dab in the middle of Ogden and Salt Lake, so if you like that suburban feel with the convenience of tons of shopping and restaurants, then you're going to love living in Layton.
Yeah, and fun fact about Lagoon Amusement Park, when Sloan and I first were dating, we would always get a season pass there and go literally every single day in the summertime. It was so much fun. So that's definitely somewhere you have to check out no matter where you choose to live.
Totally, and it does include, they have a water park there as well. So not only is it roller coaster and attractions like that, but they have a water park there, and all that's included with that pass too. So I know that we've covered a lot, but I really hope this gives you a clear idea of what Northern Utah has to offer you guys. Whether you're into the hustle and bustle of Salt Lake, the historic charm of Ogden, or that family-friendly vibe of Provo and Layton, there's definitely something here for everyone. If you're thinking about making a move to Utah and need help deciding between these cities or any other cities we haven't talked about, don't hesitate to reach out. Give us a call, send us a text. We're happy to help guide you guys through that process and ask the right questions to help you find that perfect spot that's going to be good for you.
We hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Picking where you'll call home is an important and personal decision, and we would love to help you make that smooth transition to the Wasatch Front area. If you're looking to purchase in the Northern Utah area, we'd love to help you out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email like Sloan said. And until next time, we're keeping it real estate.